Welcome into this edition of Saints Now. I'm your host, Will Scott, and on today's show, we're going to be looking ahead to Saints Minicamp, give you 5 players that you should be watching at Minicamp. And Minicamp starts today. Very exciting. It's going to take place this week, June 14th through the 16th. Dennis Allen, head coach, says that everyone is expected to attend. This is the last look we're going to get at the team until training camp. So this is especially important for these UDFAs, these guys that have been signed that are fighting for spots on the roster to get another chance to kind of show what they can do before minicamp. So minicamp officially begins today, and unlike OTAs, it is mandatory. So players are contractually obligated to be at minicamp, so maybe some guys that we didn't see at OTAs will be at minicamp today. Like this video to wish the team a good minicamp. We're in a likes contest here at Chat Sports this month, trying to see what channel can get the most likes. We got to beat our Falcons channel. That needs to be the top priority, so go down and give us a like on this video. Let's get into the players to watch at Saints Minicamp. We're going to be breaking down 5 guys. The first one is already a fan favorite, and that is undrafted free agent tight end Lucas Krull. Lucas really showed out at rookie minicamp. Then he looked great at OTAs. Can he keep it up and continue to look good at mandatory minicamp? I think yes, and I think he has a very good chance of making this roster. He's been all over the place throughout his sports career. Played baseball at Arkansas, then went to a community college to play baseball, then was like, maybe I'm better at football. Goes and plays tight end for the Florida Gators before transferring to Pitt. Now here he is with the New Orleans Saints. Taking a look at the current Saints depth chart, you have Taysom Hill, who we've seen play quarterback a lot, but he's going to be primarily a tight end this year behind Adam Troutman. Lucas Krull right now, we have him behind Nick Vannett, who is the 3rd tight end on this team. So he's got a good chance to make the roster if he can turn in a good minicamp, and that, of course, might be followed by a really good preseason, playing good preseason games as well. More players to watch here. Abram Smith, a undrafted free agent running back out of Baylor, someone else much like Krull who has been impressing. Kirk Merritt played last season for the Dolphins, spent most of last season on the practice squad. He was one of our winners from OTAs. He is expected to also turn in a very good minicamp, I would think. Caden Ellis, also somebody to keep an eye on, as well as undrafted free agent Smoke Monday out of Auburn. Who is your favorite Saints UDFA? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. Is it Smoke? Is it Abram Smith? Or is it Lucas Krull? Maybe not even any of those guys. Go down and let me know who your favorite Saints UDFA is. Getting into our second player to watch, that would be Jameis Winston. Here were some takeaways from OTAs with Jameis. Now, of course, he is recovering from that torn ACL that he suffered in Week 7 last season. The Saints were just not the same football team without him on the field. Now, that lip is still present, but that's normal. He's still recovering from a torn ACL, having a little bit of trouble throwing on the run. However, the team has bought in to Winston, if we're looking at the positives, and he's showing great progress. He is progressing well. He's going to be ready to roll by Week 1. Here's what his new left tackle said about him, Trevor Penning, first-round pick. He's been awesome. He's the first one here every day. You can't beat him here. He's here early in the morning. He's out with the rookies when we're the only ones here. He's been in our O-line meetings, learning protections. He's been incredible. He works extremely hard. It's awesome. That's great to hear from Trevor Penning. Chris Rosvolgu says that one of the common things I've noticed from OTAs is how much Saints players appreciate Jameis Winston's work ethic. Jarvis Landry has raved about him. Trevor Penning recently raved about him. Really hope he puts it all together. I agree with Chris. That is the hope for Jameis this year, that he can put it all together and turn in a really good season for the Saints. And the expectation is he is going to be ready to go for Week 1, which is huge. We saw the Saints last season. They were 5-2 with this guy on the football field. They didn't make the playoffs after he goes down. I have a lot of confidence in Jameis. Thank goodness the Saints did not sign Deshaun Watson, as more and more allegations continue to rise up against Deshaun. He might not even play this year. Instead, you have Jameis Winston as your quarterback, someone who is beloved in the locker room, beloved by fans, and I think has the talent to lead the Saints to the playoffs. Send the good vibes to Jameis. Type "Eat That W" down in the comments section. Show your love for the Saints QB1. With that, we bring in producer Trace. And Trace, we are rocking and rolling here on Saints Now with all these new subs.
Oh, yeah. Not only are we rocking and rolling in subs, we're also rocking and rolling with the stash.
Dude, the stash is a good look, man. The stash is a good look.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, saw Top Gun over the weekend, so kind of had to hit the debut, rate it, let me know. It's a 100 out of 5, I know. But, guys, if we get 50 subs, I have a huge surprise. A huge surprise that I have been told.
Is it going to be me in the stash? Is that the surprise?
Maybe, but I have our boss, James, looking at me right now saying, don't say what it is, because we have to hit 50. If we don't, you don't even get a hint of what it might have been. But please, y'all got to hit the sub. 50 subs, and you know the deal. We're going to keep it rolling, fellas.
Go down, hit that sub button so you can see what producers Trace a big surprise is. And let's get into our third player to watch now, T, and that's Michael Thomas, who I think we're both excited to see back on the field for the Saints this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that Michael Thomas coming back is going to be one of the biggest things for the Saints offense, this offseason. And I just truly believe that he has the ability to really make this offense explode. He brings a lot of playmaking ability. He brings a lot of, pass catching ability. He's very aggressive, and he's a go-getter at the ball. He's a great receiver to have on the field, and he's very talented. And he did post a video of him at OTAs last week, of him doing sprints at the facility. And I was listening to Ross Jackson, and he was saying that, not only is it a big deal that he's running, it's a big deal that he's running at the Saints facility.
Right, absolutely. It's good to see him there, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does at minicamp, the involvement that he has at minicamp, recovering from that ankle setback. He was supposed to play last year, and then the setback led to him having to sit out the rest of the year. Here's what he did in 2019, which was his last full season. He just played in 7 games in 2020. He was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. That is how good this guy was in 2019. Trace, can he get back to that same level of production?
See, I think that he really can, because, we do have a very loaded wide receiver room, with Jarvis Landry, who's already doing, having crazy one-handed catches at minicamp right now as we speak. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, I mean, between Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Deontay Hardy, I mean, like, how could we expect him to put up 1,700 yards? But here's my crazy thing. I think he could do it. I think that he could, maybe not have 150 receptions, but I would be, very surprised if he doesn't put up 1,600 yards, 9, maybe 10 touchdowns. I could see that being like a very real thing that happens. I mean, my biggest question is, are we going to get the 2019 Mike back? And I think that we will.
And I think a reason that we might is because you have a lot of talented receivers around him. That's going to take a little bit of pressure off of him. That's going to force opposing DBs to maybe focus on Olave and Landry and not, really focus in as much on MT. So I think that could also really contribute to Thomas going out and having a good season. I know a lot of Saints fans or Pels fans. We're going to be broadcasting the NBA Draft live Thursday, June 23rd. Mark your calendars. The Pelicans have the 8th overall pick. A lot of storylines surrounding the New Orleans Pelicans. Who are they going to take 8 overall? Personally, I think they should take A.J. Griffin out of Duke. That's what I'm hoping for, but you have to tune in, see what happens. The link to subscribe to our Chat Sports main channel going to be in the comments and in the description of this video, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Talking about our next player, that is Peyton Turner, someone who we didn't see a whole lot of in his rookie season, just 5 games played. But the first-round pick says the goal has always been to be back by training camp. I had a long off season, a little longer than most, so I'm excited to get back out there. And Peyton, I think you're speaking for the whole Saints fan base when you're talking about your excitement to get back on the field. Here's what he did in those 5 games last year. Now, The problem was he couldn't really stay on the field, but the good news is when he was on the field, he was absolutely making an impact. 1 sack, 3 QB hits, 3 tackles for loss, 12 tackles. He is going to be in the middle of the Saints defensive line depth chart. Right now we have him slotted behind Marcus Davenport. This is a very talented Saints defensive line, one that could still improve. You still have Ndamukong Suh out there in free agency, a couple other guys, but Peyton Turner, I'm really excited to see what he can do this season, Trace.
Yeah, and I'm also very excited to see what Peyton Turner can do, being the first round draft pick from 2 years ago after this draft. I mean, we saw that he has the ability to make plays, and we saw that he, can be aggressive, and he can, cause a little bit of trouble up front in that defensive interior, the defensive end, sorry. But as we all know, he got hurt, and it stinks. I feel like we really didn't get to see what he could truly do, kind of similar to the Jameis Winston situation is essentially. But I think that Peyton Turner really could bring a lot to the table. But what I will say, I don't think he's going to bring as much to the table as this guy, Wil Lutz.
He's back.
He's back,
Let's
baby.
go.
Hey, y'all better watch out for him because he's coming, and he's coming hard. And yes, that is supposed to be dirty.
Man, it is so great that Wil Lutz has been medically cleared. He made that announcement yesterday that he has been medically cleared to rejoin the team, rejoin football activities. Here's what he said. After 11 months, multiple surgeries and setbacks, I've officially been cleared. No words can explain how hard these 11 months have been mentally and physically, but it's added a whole new perspective and motivation to get back to the top. A lot of work ahead, but I can't wait to be back on the field helping this team win games, says the Saints star kicker, 2019 Pro Bowler. And, after that muscle injury last year, Trace, he had some setbacks, kind of like MT. We didn't see him. And as a result, the Saints' kicking woes continued throughout last year. It was really, really bad. They're not going to have to worry about that this season.
Yeah, no,
They had 4 kickers last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I want to give credit to Jeff Nowak for pointing out this statistic. Saints PATs in 2021, we had 7 misses and 38 attempts. Wil Lutz PATs since 2016, 7 misses and 260 attempts.
Guy's automatic, man. Guy's automatic.
So do what you want with that number and that information. I immediately look back to the Giants game last season, and I looked at we had a lead. We were doing great. We started kind of getting the decline and losing momentum, and then you could sense the momentum shift and the energy leaving the team and leaving the stadium. And Wil Lutz coming in at any time. They lost by 2 points if I remember correctly. Kick a field goal and
they win that game.
They go to the playoffs. Exactly, and they would have made the playoffs.
Kickers are valuable. I mean, look at what happened with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Exactly.
I mean, they finally get a kicker and they go to the Super Bowl. Think about how many games that they went down the stretch. So yeah, kickers are very valuable. They're very important, and Darren Rizzi acknowledges that. When you have a kicker like Wil, it certainly makes a huge difference. I'm really excited to have him back for training camp. I know he's working his tail off. So Wil Lutz back. He's going to be back for training camp, back for mini camp. One of our 5 players to watch.
Yeah, guys, and just to kind of recap, I think that Wil Lutz is probably my biggest person to watch because he is going to be, still recovering from the injury, and he is a year removed, so he's.
Keep in mind, it was a groin injury. It's not ideal for a kicker.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's going to be rusty by any means. I'm just saying that he definitely worked out. He definitely was practicing over last season in the last offseason. But what we can't ignore is that he is coming off of an injury, and that he does, it might take him some time to get back to the automatic, kicking it 50, 60 yards or whatever, right. And beating the Texans week 1 Monday Night Football. It's going to take a minute to get back to that, level of production or level of play. Hopefully not that long, but I think that it might, to be honest.
The good news, he has time.
Absolutely.
We got 12 weeks until the season. Pumped to have Wil Lutz back, type 3. Down in the comments section, Wil Lutz is back. Are you pumped that he's back? If so, go down and type 3. This has been Will Scott, Trace Girouard. Trace, where can they find you on social media, man?
Guys, hit me up at Trace Girouard 48. That's on both Instagram and Twitter. But I also want to make sure that y'all hit up my boy Will Scott on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
He's the GOAT, man. Y'all better give him a follow. The Bayou Boys.